Mike. One check, 1 2. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Yeah. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, mic check, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Is the host of the most, the ting to the tango, the jing to the jangle, Jrod on point. We are here. Big shout out to everyone watching. It's very so much appreciated. This is a special edition. This is a very special edition. Early morning, I didn't finish my food, so I wanted to make sure that we go back right at it. I want to make sure that we finish what we started. And I know I said that I was coming tonight to get my work done, but I thought that I could just start early. I know it's rare for me to be live around this time, but I had the time, so might as well let's get to some good old work. Make sure that y'all click like, subscribe, and share the content. My name is Jrod on point, and we're about to start talking about the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case. We are going to be listening to the latest court hearing that it took us all the way to where we at today. It's going to be a court hearing today. It's going to be private. Also, it's the 16th is going to be another one. It's going to be private too. Also, it's going to be closed for the public. So we're going to be talking about what happened on the earliest hearings, and this is the whole reason why it's a private hearing. We got our beliefs, we got our theories, we have done the work, and we are here to share with y'all our thoughts and on the latest hearing. This is where the background music goes away. This is where the show starts. Very welcome. Thank you for being here. Very appreciated for the 24 likes. It's very appreciated. 23 people watching. I appreciate you for spending your time with me. We're going to have a conversation about these hearings, so might as well, without further ado, let's listen to Layton County and what's going on in Idaho. Big shout out to everyone watching. Make sure that you click like, subscribe, share the content. Make sure to tell the people, tell your neighbors, tell everyone that Jrod on point is live. Let's go.
Have a few things just to sort out today. The first thing I want to talk about is whether or not this hearing should be sealed. What's your
So as we speak, just to start, the judge wanted to have this conversation of if they make that one hearing that we could see right now on the screen, even though they are live and open to the public, the judge still wants to debate if they should make this hearing that we are about to see private off YouTube. This initiative is coming from the judge. I have a problem with that. I really do have a problem with the judge proposing the hearing to be closed. So that means he's trying to debate. He's starting the conversation. The judge started a conversation about if they should make this one particular hearing that you're seeing right now private. So that means that if he will see fit, the judge would authorize to shut off the live stream. I believe that Ann Taylor in her argument kept the hearing open for the public. I believe that it's not fair for the judge to enforce a gag order or a non-dissemination order in this manner, taking the lead in protecting a non-dissemination order, which they utilize, the judge and the state are utilizing the non-dissemination order to have the defense team walking on eggshells while the judge and the prosecution in cahoot are making the defense to look like they are incompetent enough that they believe, and that means the court and the state believe, or trying to make the people believe that if they don't guard Ann Taylor this way and keep her grounded, she might say something that it will affect the gag order. But the opposite side of that is that if Ann Taylor violates that non-dissemination order, is consequences to that. Is consequences to that. The judge will find you in contempt. And there's other ramifications to that. So why, if we having the leader of the prosecution, Bill Thomson, and we have the leader on public defender's office, Ann Taylor, why we having the two most reputable and respected attorneys in opposite sides of the fence, the leaders of their offices, how come that the judge and Bill Thomson is and are disrespecting the defense team in such a manner while violating the rights of Bryan Kohberger, while violating due process? And if we run and go through the whole transcript, we could find not just malicious prosecution, which the judge dismissed already, and Taylor wanted to dismiss and the indictment. She didn't even got a hearing for that. The judge denied it without even hearing the defense team. The same thing he did with the malicious prosecution. He denied it without even hearing the defense side of things. But he could go out of nowhere. The prosecution could just file a motion late, and the judge gonna respond right to it. The judge will take a decision right there and then, like stopping the survey and stopping the whole process. The judge imposing a court stay of the procedures to then have a hearing and talk about it. So he know that he had to have a hearing and talk about it because he already took a decision. So he's forcing the defense team to fight for him to change his mind. This is what's going on. When the judge stopped the survey and posted the stay on behalf of the court, now the judge is forcing Ann Taylor. Now the judge doing that is forcing Ann Taylor to fight to get back to the status quo. Because then now, if Ann Taylor don't have the tools and the materials and the proper argument, the judge could have messed with the survey. The judge could have applied the prosecution demands to the survey, even if it goes against case law. I believe that if Ann Taylor wouldn't have not just case law that she cited, but also the firm attributes that it makes her an outstanding lawyer, conversational wise. We could tell that Ann Taylor is very well spoken, very witty. I believe that if someone will free Kohberger by the book of law, it's going to be her and her team. It's a lot of things that it comes with what Ann Taylor is doing right now. I believe that when everything got brought back to district by Superior Court, that was the Superior Court telling Ann Taylor, we need more record. We need more transcript. We need to see premeditation. The only way Ann Taylor is going to get premeditation from the judge and the prosecution is going to be letting them put their own foot on their mouth. Because it will happen. Because John Judge and the prosecution are so desperate, and I repeat, they are so desperate, because they know time is ticking, because they could only postpone to get to the meats and potatoes for so long. Today, why everything is on private, why it's a closed hearing, because today Ann Taylor is coming with all the bullshit. Today, Ann Taylor is gonna let him have it. I don't know if y'all remember when the judge tried to make it seem like Ann Taylor had a personal problem with Bill Thomson, when Ann Taylor, the only thing that she's doing is working her case. Let's make sure that we understand this proper. When you in court and you a lawyer in prosecution and you in court, nothing is personal. I repeat, when you a lawyer or a prosecutor, when you in court working your case, speaking on your case, while the hearing, nothing is personal. So it's nothing that Ann Taylor is doing that is bad or wrong to the process, because she's putting Bill Thomson against the wall. Actually, if you ask me, Bill Thomson put his own self against the wall. with all these lies and make believe. Bill Thomson has lied in court over 4 to 5 times, probably more, that we have catch him lying, especially about discovery. Catch him lying many times, and that's gonna be founded today. Here's a problem today and the 16th, the judge will see on all the lies that Bill Thomson is being saying in court. We're not going to get too ahead of ourselves, but when the judge make believe and telling Ann Taylor to tone it down a little bit, to not make this matter personal, the judge, it was making believe and putting on record something that is misrepresenting Ann Taylor in her office. The judge is misrepresenting the reputation of Ann Taylor in an open court. This is part of the aggressive prosecution and aggressive courthouse. This is an aggressive judge, a biased judge that is being putting all the whipped cream to the prosecution. But when it comes about the defendant and his rights, the court judge is ridiculing, minimizing, and stepping on the reputation of Ann Taylor. And then you're gonna tell me that Ann Taylor don't have the right to be upset while in court, while she's doing her job as a professional? She could still be upset, and and she's upset with what happened within the case. You cannot expect someone that knows you, judge. You cannot expect a person that knows you, Bill Thomson. You cannot expect Ann Taylor to sit there and look at both of your clowns and sit there and be like, okay, no problem. When the only thing she want to tell you, Judge and Bill Thomson, is get the fuck out of here with this shit. Who the fuck you talking to? That's what Ann Taylor want to tell the judge and Bill Thomson. Who the fuck you talking to? Don't talk to me like I'm a child. Because that's what the judge is doing, talking to Ann Taylor, Gronador, the leader of the public defender's office, like she's a child. This is disrespectful and not ethical. It's very unprofessional. It's not professional at all whatsoever. It's a shame and a sham. Filthy, dusty, dirty. And the worst of the worst behavior that we could see in the judge on plain sight is an embarrassment of a judge. If you ask me, I literally lost all type of respect for Judge. I don't give him the benefit of the doubt no longer, because everything he has done, everything he has said is on record. Is on record. We could hear it, we could see it, and it's on the transcript. It's on the transcript. We could see the decisions that he taken and he's not taking. 1 second, guys. Let's get back to the video.
What's your position, Ms. Taylor?
Your Honor, this hearing should not be sealed.
Okay. Mr. Thomson? Ms.
Well,
Jennings?
Your Honor, the state's prepared to do its argument today without actually talking about the specific requests that we're trying to protect within the discovery request. And so as long as those specifics are not discussed or mentioned, then I think we can go forward with an open hearing today.
Okay. Are you comfortable with that, Ms. Taylor?
Well, what I'm not going to talk about is the content of the court's protected materials that we've asked for a sealed hearing for. What I'm prepared to talk about is why should we seal this particular motion to compel that's set to be heard, and how much else is in the public record, and why there's no compelling reason to seal that, and why that violates Mr. Kohberger's constitutional rights. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
It's
So we could see very clear that Ann Taylor and prosecution are on the same page far as wanting to talk about the merits of what we heal, and that's okay. Obviously, the prosecution and the defense team knows that they cannot talk about in open court. They cannot talk about any materials that are sealed in the gag order. It's very understood. This is professionals talking about this, okay? So if we have two professionals that know that they cannot talk about the items that are sealed, why we even having this question brought to the table? Like, this is kids that we have to pay attention to. Okay, this is very embarrassing when the judge knows that these grown adults knows what to do. They know what to do. They professionals on their areas. So how and why the judge wanna act like should we have this one hearing right now in the open, like what we are going to talk about, like why the judge is so worried about what the defense team is gonna talk about. Thank you, baby. Very appreciate it. Love you. Big shout out to Mama Bear. Love you, baby. So here we have the judge so freaked out and scared of what the defense team is gonna expose in the open court, and all these precautions that the judge is taking is letting the defense team know, hey, be careful with what you're going to say. Be nice and kind. Like, you know what I'm saying? They trying to force the defense team into submission, for them to not even fight for Mr. Kohberger. And it's crazy to say that this is nothing but the truth. This is not no speculation. This is not allegation. This is it, because it's on record. We could speak into a fact what's on record. And what's on record right now as we speak, if the judge is the judge acting to the public like they have to babysit Ann Taylor and her office, that makes her office, that make Ann Taylor look incompetent. You making it seem like, oh, if I don't keep Ann Taylor on the leash, she might go outside of the program and say things that without saying it, it will expose a little too much right now. And guess what? If the judge don't know there is something shady there to hide, he wouldn't be doing this. And I repeat, the judge knows for a fact there is a lot of shady things. And I repeat, it's a lot of shady things about this prosecution. It's a lot of shady things that we could see, that we could clearly see. And put a little bit of background music. Got a little noise in the background. All right. So we, at this point, we could confirm that the judge has a little bit too much to do. We trying to protect, conceal. But why he's trying to protect, what he's trying to conceal at this moment? Because the things that we could talk about that it looks shady to us is the prosecution not coming forward with materials and evidence that they possess in their office. Materials and evidence that for a fact they possess. Because in certain things that you cannot give the defense team if you don't have the rest of it available if needed. So right now, we could confirm that the judge knows a little bit too much and probably thinks that him as a judge should not know. We could take that conclusion that the judge know a little bit too much, and we could take the conclusion that the judge is doing a little bit too much. And is no respect from the judge, nor the court, to Ann Taylor. Is no respect. Because if they have respect and consideration for her office, they wouldn't act in front of the people like they have to babysit Ann Taylor. That's disrespectful to her and her office. Let's start there. The judge is taking some initiative that is no reason for him to take. He needs to let prosecution do their work. The judge, if you ask me, is acting as prosecution, which within a judge, it does not look right. And it should not be at all whatsoever. It should not be that way. And I repeat, I don't see fit what the judge is doing to the defense team. I don't think that that's fair, and actually makes the defense team look real bad. That's not right. Let's continue.
The challenge here is that both sides have agreed to seal all the discovery. There's a lot of stuff out there, and so I just
And again, they doing this because all these seal stuff, they doing that because it's something there to hide. I totally understand when the judge is getting into a little too much in the conversation, telling the defense team like, but you agree with the prosecution on sealing everything. Like now you backpedaling. Now you want to start showing items and stuff. But the difference of now and back then is that now they are more fully aware of the evidence against Bryan Kohberger. And even though they don't have everything, but due to the public information available, listen, the defense team know exactly the prosecution tactics and what the prosecution is going to try in court, just out of the public opinion, just out of the public opinion, just out of the news media outlets narrative. And then when the opinion of the public, it gets affected by the publicity of the Kohberger being guilty, everything that Ann Taylor see from news media outlets and YouTubers, it tells Ann Taylor exactly the prosecution tactics to follow. And it tells Ann Taylor and her team exactly what Bill Thomson is trying to do here. I totally understand that it's a lot of people that are not really that advanced, and really they don't think ahead. But it's always at some point time to allow your brain to think outside of the box, and it's time to let your mind free, and it's time to actually think for yourself and not think due to whatever you see in news media outlets or whatever you see in the news. We're trying to transfer the credibility of news media outlets from 8 years ago. Guys, it's not the same United States from 8 years ago. It's not. The news media outlets are not what they were 8 years ago. Right now, in reality, if you want to know, I believe that a lot of people has forgotten about President Obama signing the news media outlets will not get in trouble if they lie to the people. So they allowed to push narrative and they allowed to do propaganda. They allowed to have an agenda. News media outlets say and do what they've been told. They are not independent. They are not an entity. They are part of the machine. They're not investigating nothing. They get a script. When Obama signed into a law, since that day on, they get their scripts from the CIA and the FBI. They get the scripts from Hollywood. And they being told what to do and what to say. Because these new media outlets are owned by the same powers to be in Hollywood. So of course these people in Hollywood got friends in fraternities, and they belong in sororities, and they belong to cults, and they belong to whatever they do. Let's call it the Illuminati. So you're gonna tell me the president of the University of Idaho, being a billionaire, you're gonna tell me that that man is not Illuminati? Of course he's a Illuminati. Mr. Green, he probably is a high priest. If you ask me, I would like to believe that Mr. Green is a master mason, grandmaster mason, if not above it. Listen, if you ask me, I believe that Mr. Green is a level 33 in masonry. He's up there. So we're talking about a mason. We're talking the Illuminati in power of the fraternities, in power of the Greek Council, in power of Moscow PD. Because again, if you are in charge, if you are the head honcho within this entity that is the University of Idaho, you overseeing the whole operation, you overseeing fraternities, you overseeing sororities, you overseeing everything and anything that it has to do with the University of Idaho. So if you are in power as a Grandmaster Mason, a lot of people owe you favors. We're fully aware that the University of Idaho has a media department pushing narratives. We know that Green's connection with the media, connection with owners, connections within the high levels of Illuminati. I believe that he's actually pushing the narrative and the balancing against Mr. Kohberger. And I believe that Mr. Green, Mr. Big Grand Mason Illuminati, is the one behind the puppetry. And he's the one moving the parts on everything that is going on, even within law enforcement. Remember and don't forget, all these law enforcement, okay? All these law enforcement like Moscow PD, sheriff, and even troopers, they belong, okay, to the mighty order of police, the fraternal order of police. Individually, they also belong to fraternities that own loyalty to the vandals. We're talking about this is go all over the education system, all over the health department, all over the Department of Justice, the local Department of Justice. You know the Illuminati got roots and all of that. They have their soldiers placed in the right places. There's a lot of things they will move at will. The only people that don't even think about this and don't believe in this is the people that live in a bubble. It's people that has never come out their house. It's people that don't have a life and they live consumed behind their TV screen. People that has not traveled. And again, I repeat, people that has not traveled outside of their locality or their town. People that have not meet people, seen people, and network with people. This is the people that can't believe that law enforcement and local authorities will be compromised and they will shoot at will whatever narrative and they will do whatever they want to do. It's not far-fetched. This is what they do. And they try to manipulate the system into whatever they want the system to be. So yes, I believe, and I would say I'm quite sure that the person behind all the fuckery and the narrative and everything that is going on is Mr. Green. Let's continue.
Just want, I hope that you can both honor that at this point, because down the line, maybe some things do have to discuss. We need to discuss very specifically that maybe both sides don't want that out in the public, because it is a fair trial goal here. And if we start arguing about the case itself, the trial, and the evidence that you're gonna present, both sides, gets more complicated and may be prejudicial to one or the other. So I guess at this point, we'll keep this open, but be careful. I mean, I've read everything, so I know what's sort of out there and what you're concerned about. And some of those materials or potential evidence could be prejudicial to the state, or it could be prejudicial to Mr. Kohberger. So my job is to try to keep on a balance here, a neutral balance, where when we get to the trial, if we ever get there, that it'll be fair and we'll have been determined in advance. Okay, so keep it open today. If something comes up and we need to close it down for a period of time to discuss a particular situation, then we can do that. Okay, so it really, I think at this point, it's the state's motion to close the hearing completely on May 14th. I believe, I'm not incorrect, that you both have stipulated to closing May 16th, which is related to the IGP.
Your Honor, our position is that's the only part that should be closed, and that's because we want to talk about the content of the materials protected by the court's order, and so that one's appropriate to close.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm on the same page, but great. Okay, Ms. Jennings.
Thank you, Judge. So, Judge, the applicable authority today in determining whether or not we should close the May 14th hearing is Idaho Administrative Court Rule 32 and Idaho Code 74-124. Both contemplate balancing this public right to an open hearing versus the interests such as privacy, safety, and the right to a public trial or to a fair trial. In deciding whether or not to file the motion to close the hearing, the state weighed those interests and ultimately came down that the need to protect the privacy and the sensitive information and ultimately protect the state and defendant's right to a fair trial outweighs the right to an open hearing. Feel confident that when the court does this same balancing test, it'll come to the same conclusion. For the record, since the beginning of this case, attachments detailing the specific discovery request have been filed under seal. In line with this, on April 4th of 2024, just about a month ago, the state and defense filed a stipulated motion to file all future attachments under seal. Today, we're specifically discussing the defendant's fourth and fifth motion to compel discovery. Concurrent with the defendant's fourth motion to compel discovery, the defendant motioned the court that the details be filed under seal, citing Rule 32. Concurrent with the fifth motion to compel discovery, both parties stipulated to filing the details under seal, citing Rule 32 as well as Idaho Code 74-124. So the state followed course. We have filed all of our responses under seal and then filed this motion to close the hearing to discuss those previously sealed details. Now the defense is taking a contradictory position and asking the court to ignore all the previous filings, and this is just entirely inconsistent. To be clear, the state has nothing to hide. However, it's crucial that we protect, as we have been trying, the integrity of this case, and that we protect, ultimately, the right to a fair trial. So let's look at the factors. Balancing a public's right to an open hearing and the party's right to a fair trial. Let's go to the factors laid out by Rule 32 and Idaho Code 74-124. And when we do that, for defense's fourth motion to compel, Item 1, Subpart A, discusses federal grand jury materials. Those are exempt from disclosure by federal law, as well as Idaho Code 74-104, subsection 2. What they specify as subparts B through N, all of those items discuss evidence related to this investigation, of which disclosure would, 1, interfere with enforcement proceedings pursuant to 74-124, subsection A, deprive the defendant a right to a fair trial and the state, subject to 74-124, subsection B, and Rule 32, subsection E. And it would disclose investigative techniques or procedures which are exempt, pursuant to 74-124, subsection E.
So y'all see, Ann Taylor wants the investigation of Moscow PD. She wants the full disclosure of Moscow PD investigation of the first 48. It's not that, it's not just that. It's the first 48 and everything they did right after. She wants everything. This is going to expose what we've been talking about for a very long time. Is gonna expose when Moscow PD let go the whole inner circle. When Moscow PD clear the inner circle in a week, when that inner circle is big, we talking about between all families and all victims, all families, friends, enemies, best friends, no friends, lovers, haters, fraternities, sororities. We're talking about Moscow PD cleared the whole University of Idaho. I repeat, Moscow PD cleared the whole University of Idaho in a week. White Helantras and everything from the University of Idaho. Make that make sense. In a week. Now I want all those like Bryan Kohberger guilters to explain to me how they cleared the whole University of Idaho, students and staff, with all the white helantras available within the University of Idaho. How you clear all those people within a week, and you went all the way to the university next door, which is in another state. You have to cross the border to get to Washington, and you go as far as the moment of going to the state next door, the university next door, that is obvious that you have attachments to. They're not even competition. Washington State University is not even competition. WSU is not competition for the University of Idaho. This is well known. This is well known. They are partners. The same universities that you could find in the University of Idaho is the same fraternities and sororities and Greek life that you're going to find in WSU. So it's two universities moving as one. Even though they are in two separate states, but they are right next door. And at one point, those communities, at one point in life, back in the days, those communities were part of each other. So you know they make the border, but the same people is in the same locality, even though they're in the separated states. But this is the same people. This is the same friends. Thank you, babe. It's the same people. So being in cahoot to do something of this magnitude, to protect the bag, protect the money, is at all costs. Because the University of Idaho and WSU, if they get found, if the universities get found on any foul play, not just within the killing, but also within the covering, protecting and abating the real killers. And this is how they making it look like at this day to day. This is not even my opinion. This is how they making it look like. At this point, they don't have the benefit of the doubt whatsoever. They don't. I cannot give these people the benefit of the doubt because I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown adult. I have seen a lot, hear a lot. I have met a lot of people. I know where I stand in the community. So knowing what I know, for me, it's not far-fetched to think this, because these go along with the whole criminal book. The book of law and the criminal book. And the unspoken criminal book, which is a mentality. Criminal mentality. When you studying all this stuff, criminal justice and criminology and stuff like that, you learn a lot about in the way that criminals think. But at the same time, if you have not gone into those classes and never had the opportunity to take those classes and go to college and take those classes, those people that had the opportunity to actually, my baby growing up so fast, due to they being on the street for a long time, they get to meet a lot of criminals. So that you get that way, get to learn how the criminal mind think, right? So in a way, these people in the University of Idaho, WSU, Moscow PD, and the way they working, even Layton County, the judge, prosecution, and the way they working is as a gang. They all belong to the Vandals. They are the OGs of the Vandals. And they are protecting the young generation of Vandals. We talking about right now, this case is on the hands of the Vandals. It's not even the judge is a Vandal. Even Ann Taylor is a Vandal. But I believe that by the book of law, especially having this case in the way it is, it's like Ann Taylor telling Bill Thomson, like, dude, if you wanted to frame Bryan Kohberger, you needed to do a better job at this. Like, you make this shit easy for me to embarrass you. This is what I believe, because due to the Ann Taylor and Just Judge and Bill Thomson, they all are vandals. Even the sheriff and the PD and all, they are vandals. You leave a vandal, you die a vandal. This is their saying. It's not even me saying it. This is their say. The people that knows. And every time I mention that and I say that, is to let them know that I know what they know. And that's a problem for them. That someone else outside the circle knows what he knows. Because they know it's only a matter of a time for the whole exposure of this whole situation, which is going to be the biggest embarrassment in the whole state of Idaho ever. I'm telling you, if everything goes as planned, it's only a matter of a time for the whole state of Idaho getting exposed. And they're going to get exposed, okay? Soon as Bryan Kohberger walks, and we are looking at them like, now, what the fuck you going to do? Because right now, as we speak, the only reason why I'm saying that Kohberger might walk is because the same thing they have presented within the first narrative and the public narrative, and whatever actually is coming out from court, which is different realities. One is a make believe reality because it's real that they saying what they saying, even though if it's not true, but it's reality that they saying what they saying. So that's the fake reality. And the real reality of the bottom line of things is in court. Because in court, it should be nothing but professionals conducting freedom and conducting justice, both at the same time. We cannot do justice one without the other, because then it's not justice. You have in court to fight for freedom, and you have to fight for justice. That's for the court was supposed to be. So let's continue and listen to this champ that they got going on in Moscow. I believe that this is two professional teams. One team is defending the vandal interest at all costs, which is the prosecution, and the defense team defending an innocent man, which it seems at this day today, with what we know, it seems that he's an innocent man. So we only speaking on what we could see and hear in court. We cannot really pay attention to the public narrative because it does not just. So let's listen to professional teams on what they do. Hash it out in court, have at it. And let's listen to Judge perform on his finest.
For defense's fifth motion to compel, item 1, subparts A through J, all deal with the investigation. All would be exempt pursuant to the same authority just cited.
Checkmate. They not just want to talk about the whole IGG situation, even though it's listen, this is very important. People subestimate Aunt Taylor, but this is very important. Talk about the IGG. It's very important to talk about the IGG because the IGG and the PCA got the man arrested. But then now the IGG is out of discussion for trial. And also the PCA has become irrelevant. As we speak, prosecution itself, Mr. Bill Thomson, has proclaimed the PCA as irrelevant and not worth it. But then you're gonna tell me that you got a secret indictment with a whole different level of evidence. So you're gonna tell me whatever you posted on the secret indictment, it was irrelevant to the PCA, or the PCA was irrelevant to the information that you utilize to get an indictment coming back in 3 days. Make that make sense. Because the only two reasons why Bryan Kohberger is arrested is due to the PCA, probable cause for arrest, and the IGG. So you're going to tell me the PCA and the IGG at this day today are irrelevant? You have to let Kohberger go. God bless you, baby. You had to let Kohberger go. Because the same things got him arrested. It's the same things that are irrelevant as we speak today. You need to let that man walk. He's been for a whole year locked up for no fucking reason. This is what Bill Thomson is telling the whole world. People was utilizing the PCA for all these narrative against Kohberger. Now they can't even get a CAS from the FBI. They can't even use whatever preliminary CAS they give, that whatever they have right now, they can't even use that in court because they don't have the works. And FBI cannot give it to you because they don't have it, Bill Thomson. And even if they had it, they don't have it now. Why? Because you, Bill Thomson, did exactly what the FBI told you do not do. Do not use the IGG for nothing whatsoever, not just in court, but you cannot utilize this for an arrest because it's not valid. Because if this right here is not valid in court for this case that you're working on, it's a reason for that. Because it doesn't match. It will not match. Because that was reverse DNA. Reverse DNA. What's that reverse DNA, Jrod point? What's reverse DNA? Is you having any type of DNA available and make it exactly what you want it to be. Understand what we're talking about here. It hit different. When they fabricated DNA, when they utilized Kohberger's dad's DNA to make a match to Kohberger, they did not have nothing to arrest Kohberger when Kohberger was in Pullman, and they didn't have nothing until Pennsylvania authorities and FBI conduct a search in the trash can, get Bryan Kohberger dad's DNA, give it to the laboratory, and right there and then, like within hours, it make a perfect match. And you arrested Bryan Kohberger by the graces of God, by magic, IGG magic. So through IGG magic and whatever bullshit you have for cause for arrest, you couldn't get none of those warrants for arrest in Pennsylvania without the IGG, and you know this. You that are listening to me right now as we speak, you know that if the IGG wouldn't come back that fast positive, you as the Pennsylvania authorities and the FBI, after it was confirmed that the DNA recovered from the scene, thank you, Dr. Irvin, thank you. The DNA that you picked up from the scene a week before the arrest came back with what? Within a week? 4 days? Came back with the notice that the laboratory already have a perfect match to Kohberger's dad, and they created the IGG to make it to Kohberger's, because they utilized Kohberger's dad's DNA to make the formula to get to Kohberger. It's that simple. They never had no DNA on the button of the night shift. This was being said from the very beginning, since it came back negative from their own laboratory. People need to pay attention. They sent it to their laboratories and it came back negative to DNA. It was minute and decreasing with the brass. It was no DNA that came back at all whatsoever, while they have fresh DNA, high grade DNA from other two individuals in the same facility in a room on the third floor. We're talking about these other two DNAs were within the vicinity of the third floor room where the victims were found. In that room is two other male DNAs, higher grade class DNA. This is why we believe that they do know who's the killers, because when the DNA came back, they say, uh-oh, you know we cannot touch them. We got to go a different route. We need to, we need to improvise now. IgG this shit. And this is how we at where we at today, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we at where we at today. Having an IgG and a PCA. I was about to say a piece of shit. A IgG and a piece of shit PSA. Worse for nothing. That the prosecution itself tells you this is good for shit. Oh, but they said no. What we brought to the secret indictment is something else. That's how you know this shit. It was biased. This is how you know the whole procedure of the grand indictment. It was not even looked at. They picked up the names of the people that he was supposed to be there, and they told him, "Listen, do not even come. We already got this shit all signed up and shit. We just needed your name to go through this shit and make the paperwork. I'm probably gonna have you here to come and sign the paper, and that's it. You don't even have to come in for the 3 days facade. They already knew that he was about to come back. They needed this. They needed this to come back. They knew it was about to come back, because if they wouldn't come back the next day, they needed to have a hearing to give Kohberger bail. Even though if they would have denied it, but Kohberger would have a hearing for bail. They knew that shit. They went behind everyone's back, called for a grand jury indictment, came back because they knew it was coming back. It don't matter what they say, it was coming back. A made up indictment. Because they made it a feel and be like the real thing. Because as long as it's them manipulating everything, they could do what they want. Because we don't have individuals within this process. Everyone within that community, within that county, and everyone else that came to the rescue of this case, they are all vandals. So it's like you expecting the vandals to investigate the vandals. You're gonna tell me you're gonna expect the vandals to investigate the vandals. If it was like that, we wouldn't have Bryan Kohberger right now sitting right there in front of us. If the vandals prosecute vandals, we wouldn't be here right now. We're talking about vandals protecting vandals. All vandals protecting the young generation of vandals. And that's a problem. Let's continue.
Subparts K through M deal with the names of private citizens who were interviewed, and disclosure would constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, subject to 74-104 subsection C. It could contain intimate facts or statements of which would be highly objectionable to a reasonable person, exempt under Rule 32 I-2A, or invoke traditional legal concepts in the law of the right to a fair trial, invasion of privacy, under Rule 32, subsection 3. Subpart N through O is exempt under interfering with enforcement proceeding, depriving the defendant to a fair trial, as well as disclosing investigative techniques or procedures. Item 2, subpart A, names a private business and is exempt under the previously cited authority. Item 2, subpart B through L, deals with the investigation, again exempt under 74-124A, subsection B and E, as well as Rule 32, subsection E. Item 3 names multiple private businesses. It's also exempt under the same subsection, 74-124A, B, E, C, as well as Rule 32-12A and 3. Subpart I deals with the investigation, exempt under those same authorities. Subpart J involves a private citizen, exempt under those same authorities. Subpart K through B deals with the investigation and is exempt under those same authorities. Item 4 deals with IGG information, which has been sealed and is under a protective order from the court protecting its disclosure. If the court decides to open this hearing to the public, the state defense will be discussing evidence without any context. This will undoubtedly fuel speculation, lead to assumptions, and false narratives. The evidence discussed may not even be offered, and most of it likely will not be offered by either party at trial because it's either not relevant or material. The public will not have any means or context to be able to differentiate that. It is necessary to mitigate this by closing the hearing in order to preserve the right to a fair trial for both parties. The defendant does have a right to a public trial, but that does not mean the right to try this case in the media. The defendant will get his day in court, and the public will have a right to see what evidence the state has. But that should be evidence that is admissible pursuant to the Idaho Rules of Evidence. Now is not the time for that. We ask the court to grant the state's motion to close the hearing regarding the defendant's fourth and fifth motion to compel discovery. Lastly, I ask you to issue a scheduling order for the parties to disclose witnesses, exhibits, expert reports, or any other evidence they plan on relying on for those hearings. Prior to the hearing, the state proposed May 3rd, and then a response to those by May 10th. And the state takes no issue with this being a dual deadline. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. May 3rd might be a little quick.
Well, Your Honor,
Tomorrow?
right, but our motion was filed over a week ago.
Right.
So everyone's been on notice of what the state was asking for.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Daniel.
She wanna act like she been on point with giving. Listen, they've been on notice for months and months. Prosecution been on notice about discovery for months and months. Now they gotta force discovery upon them. But prosecution act like they been on point on their work. How can you act like you been on point and lie in court like you been on point and that everyone wants to notice when you prosecution being noticed for the longest? And you've been waiting a week and you complaining? What are you talking about? Right now, as we speak, the prosecution said the PCA is worth for nothing. And the IGGs are the question. So now Ann Taylor want to make sure that she had the opportunity to see all the materials of the IGG, everything, like everything the judge seen, they want to see it too. And it's fair because they don't have to share that with the public, but they have to share it with the defense team. It's a right to know. We don't have the right to know, but Bryan Kohberger has the right to know what they really have against him, how the IGG was created. And Taylor wants to the bottom line of the investigation of Moscow PD. This is a problem. They want the whole spectrum. This is what they don't want to talk about. They could say whatever they want to talk about the federal level. We understand the federal level works different. And Taylor is asking Bill Thomson for Moscow PD full investigation since day one. Hour one. And Taylor wants what Bill Thomson has right now on his possession, which is all the materials of the investigation since hour one, all the way to up to date today. They want the whole investigation to be wide open for them. Again, we don't need to see none of this. We don't even have the right to know. But the defense team and Bryan Kohberger has the right to see it all. Moscow PD now has to prove that they clear the whole University of Idaho and Whitehead land trust within. Now they have to prove with the works of how you clear all these people. Way before was a conversation about Bryan Kohberger. Who the fuck you talking to? While we heal. While we heal. Make that make sense. Now Moscow PD has to prove in court and show all the works of their investigation since day one and how they cleared the inner circle, how they cleared the family members, what investigation you conducted, what you investigated. Now you have to show to the court and Ann Taylor what Moscow PD did to clear everyone to get to Kohberger. Or they did the froggy limb and just jump everyone over, protect the whole University of Idaho to get in a fraudulent way to Kohberger. On a fraudulent way. That's illegal. That's breaking the law. And a lot of people need to get locked up, not just the real killers, but whoever created this cahoot. Everyone gotta go. You have to arrest at least 20 to 30 people. And that's a very humble number. 20 to 30 people, that's a very humble number. Because it's a lot of big people, a lot of people outside of the killers. But it's a lot of people working together to put all this shit together. This shit didn't create it himself. You need a whole bunch of bandos sticking together and push together to make it what we have at this day today. You skip obviously all the vandals to get to Kohberger, and you obviously fabricated everything to get to Kohberger because you're protecting the vandals. How stupid you think that everyone else is. You don't have to graduate from high school to know this type of shit. It's simple common sense. It's on point shit. This is why my name is Jrod on point, because I'm on point all the time. All the time. And when I'm not on point, I was close to be, and it's still on point because he's directed in the right way. Because he's still steering you towards the bullseye. So that's still being on point, because that means we close to be on point when we're not on point. So we still on point. Bars. And I demand that from myself. I expect nothing but that about myself. Because I'm trying to give you the same thing that I will appreciate from fellow content creators. Get to it. You're afraid of what? I have a family too, and believe me, they are well protected. Is no shit will happen, never whatsoever, and that's a promise to my kids. They are safe. Their daddy talks about true crime, investigate true crime, and he's a true crime content creator. And they are proud of their dad. Because at this day today, my kids know that I'm trying to be fair to the victims. And being fair and getting justice for the victims, we have to investigate the victims. You cannot be afraid of what you're going to find in the Pandora box. You should not be afraid of what you're going to find in the cell phone data from the victims. Because what? Whatever you find about the victims is going to expose the vandals. Listen, the vandals are already exposed. What are you talking about? Guess what? To get to know to the killers, you get to know the victims. And people play games. People don't investigate right. You have to investigate the victims to get to the killers. Do you understand me? You have to investigate the victims to get to the killer. Is in the only way you get to the killer. Is investigating the victims. Investigating everyone around the victims. Everyone. The whole University of Idaho needed to get investigated to get to the killers. That did not happen. Is no proof that no investigation was conducted against no vandal. As this day today, Bill Thomson cannot come to Ann Taylor with something that they don't have because they don't have it. They don't have an investigation to give you. They did not have an investigation properly conducted. They will clear the whole University of Idaho and white Helantras in it. And then also all white Helantras from Moscow, Idaho, and all the population of Moscow, Idaho. Because you have to investigate within, out. You cannot investigate out within. This reverse, that's reverse investigative. Now you're investigating backwards in the same way you did the backwards IgG. That's a satanic sign. Everything backwards is satanic. So you could see they're doing in this. It's all backward. This is like even part of a ritual. Utilizing a non-expected sacrifice. Utilizing a non-expected sacrifice. A non-expected sacrifice because it was planted that day, if you ask me. If you ask me, it was planted that day. And they needed to make sure that Kiely will get back. To give her sent off, to give her farewell. This was supposed to be her farewell and ended up being a sham. Everyone that died that day had a vandal issue that night. I repeat, all the victims had problems with vandals that night. I repeat, all the victims had problems with the vandals that night. You leave a vandal, die a vandal, huh? And I believe it was premeditated too. I believe that they sentenced to death. And the only way they could have get them out, it was through death. Because you know what they say, if you're alive, you're always going to be a vandal. You're always going to know our secrets. And if we don't like you and we don't want you to be part of the vandals no more, you won't be. And that means you won't be alive. Because you know a little too fucking much. And the day the whole vandal community went against these 4 young adults, and I repeat, all the victims had problems with a vandal that night. All the victims had separate different problems, and I repeat, the victims had 4 different separated problems with vandals, and all vandals decided to get rid of it together. That means whoever is the leader of the vandals sentenced to death these 4 young adults and covered this shit too. Am I speaking to the head of the snake? Because nothing will move in the vandal community if it doesn't get authorized. You know that, right? For you to get the green light for us to cover your ass up, you have to ask for permission. And if they are going to die, we all gonna take that decision together, because we all as vandals need to push together in this, right? What about if I tell you, well, baby, well, baby, you all right? You're sleepy. What about if I tell you that these young 4 adults will not die if the vandals will protect them as vandals, right? In the same way, you're not prosecuting a vandal. How comes that they were vandals too and they got killed? What they did to the vandals, what they did to the whole entity of vandals, like what was the reason? Was just jealousy? Was something petty? Like you're gonna tell me that y'all all as vandals stuck together and took a decision to kill 4 young adults for nothing? So you're gonna tell me that as soon as they got permission to kill the 4 young adults, they utilize that as a sacrifice and to show you power? You're gonna try to get away with murder to show you power to the community? So you're gonna tell me that you showing to your community in the same way y'all showing the community in the Kiely Rodni case, because you're gonna tell me Kiely Rodni died, okay, being murdered. You're gonna tell me Kiely Rodni got murdered, the criminals and the killers still walking out there, the whole community know what the fuck happened and who did that, and you're gonna tell me that the powers to be are not utilized that to submit the community and let the community know you don't remember, don't be another Kiely Rodni? And in the same way they utilize the 4 young adults that die in the Idaho fall for the vandals to tell each other, hey, don't be an Idaho fool. Because this is the conversations that we know are happening right now between them. We know this. It's a lot of fraternals and sororities speaking like that. We know this. Don't forget it's a mall everywhere. Don't forget that it's always a mall everywhere, especially when the mall is connected to people, to people, to people, and people that doesn't have nothing to do with vandals. But those other people that knows people, that knows people, that knows people are connected to big people that doesn't have nothing to do with vandals. Do you understand me? It's malls everywhere. They all know what happened. They're utilizing the Idaho 4 against the vandals to keep the vandals into submission. Why you think that Bethany left right away? Why you think that Bethany left right away? She don't want nothing to do with this shit. Why you think Bethany left? She knows she can come back. She knows she cannot go back to Idaho. She knows this. She knows this. Because she's a witness. She knows if she goes, she get killed. And that's it. And it's gonna get covered too. It's gonna be an accident. She knows she need to stay around her dad and around her family. She knows that. And believe me, I know that the college, the college is the whole college shit, that shit gone. That shit is out the door. All that college shit is out the door. She know the sororities, the same sororities and same fraternities are everywhere in the West Coast and everywhere in the United States. So it don't matter if she goes somewhere else in some other sorority and fraternity. She know for a fact that it's gonna be links to them. So all her college life, that's gone and out the door. The only way that she could continue college and probably stay alive is just keeping her mouth shut. I think and I believe that if she cooperate with the defense team, her all her dreams of being in college and be someone is gonna be gone. Because then they're gonna cut all the connections to her. I don't think Bethany wants that. I think that she just wanna be out the problem and just stay shut and leave shit alone. Well, it didn't happen to me. It sucks, you know what I mean? They speak like that. It sucks to be them. This is how they speak. It's sad but true. They already said that very clear. It's sad but true. Believe me, she don't want to talk to they listen, the prosecution don't want the defense team to talk to Bethany. They don't want to get to the point to say like, oh shit, they made her talk, or they she agreed to talk. They don't want even those chances to occur. Believe me, I believe it's many communications through third parties to Bethany telling her exactly what to do. It's either that or else. It's just what it is. So yeah, I believe that right now Bill Thomson cannot give Ann Taylor, because this is what it is today and the today 14 and the 16. I think today's IGG matters, and then the 16 is gonna be for the whole investigation of why Bill Thomson has not rendered everything that Moscow PD has, because now whatever FBI has is irrelevant. Because you arrested Bryan Kohberger because whatever you did as Moscow PD. That's how you got him arrested, with the little help of the FBI. Actually, the FBI didn't even help you. The FBI didn't even help you to arrest Kohberger like that, because they told you to not use the IGG, and you still did it. So if the IGG is out of the question, you're not gonna get no cash from the FBI. The FBI didn't mean nothing in this case. And Taylor knows that. She's not even worried about whatever the FBI has. She's worrying about whatever Moscow PD did way before they got to Kohberger. She won them to open the books. She won Moscow PD and prosecution to open the book. So how you got to Kohberger investigate? What was your investigative method? How you clear all these bunch of people? They say 400 witnesses. I believe that's a good percentage of the University of Idaho. And that's fair. And that's fair to be 400 witnesses that they want to talk to and no one want to talk. It's fair for Kohberger to know what Moscow PD did for him to be in court right now and being arrested and locked up for a year plus. He want to know why we here. And this is a problem because prosecution should have everything available from Moscow PD as we speak right now. Prosecution should have everything they need from Moscow PD right now. It shouldn't be a problem with that. They should have everything and anything Moscow PD has as we speak, and they do. They do. All this shit they already gave and Taylor is worth for nothing evidence. Is worth for nothing evidence. All these terabytes and all this other shit they were talking about, it was worth for nothing. That's how much of a nothing they have against Kohberger. She wants to know why we're here. Don't forget, and I repeat, all the terabytes reported that was already on the hands of the defense. Terabytes and a whole bunch of information. 103 items of the Moscow PD that they still don't have. And plus more. So you're going to tell me you give the defense a preliminary of what Moscow PD have and you don't want to give the rest? Because this is what prosecution been telling Ann Taylor. Don't keep asking. I give it to you when I'm ready. So that means that you don't have nothing because you're not ready. So if you're not ready, you don't have nothing. If you're not ready, that means you don't have nothing against Kohberger, period. Because if you was ready to prosecute, you would be bowling long time ago. That's a fact. Today they're going to talk about the IGG. Then they're going to talk about the investigation. Hopefully in those two hearings, they get to the bottom of all. We're going to keep it in 2 hours. I'm going to come back tonight. I'm going to set up the live stream and everything for tonight. I'm going to come back later on and we're going to keep talking about this hearing and we're going to keep talking a little bit more of Bryan Kohberger, Idaho full Bryan Kohberger case with the latest. So stay tuned. Thank you for being here. Very appreciate it. Thank you, Dorelli, for sticking with us. Very appreciated. Thank you so much for the commentaries. Very appreciated. And as always, the host of the most, your favorite brother, your mother's favorite son, the black sheep. Believe in yourself because I believe in you. If I did it, you could do it too. I'm nothing special. I believe that you're going to take all the best decisions for your life and everyone around you. This is Jrod on Point, ladies and gents. I appreciate ya. Love you very much. Thank you for being here today. We're going to see you tonight with a little bit more of Idaho full and Bryan Kohberger case. Have a good one. Drink your coffee. Have a good day.